What's good, everyone? It's your boy Dak908, aka the Dig Dug himself, and today, ladies and gents, we are playing Monster Hunter Generations Ultimate, and we are going to be fighting the Lagombi. Now, the Lagombi is actually a very interesting monster. He got his introduction in Monster Hunter Portable 3rd, I believe, actually. So it's a 3rd generation monster, kind of from my neck of the woods. But the cool thing about the Lagombi is that he's very similar to that of the Arzuros, because they have like the same body type. I actually forget exactly what that body type is particularly called, but I just call them like bears, you know what I mean? But Lagombi's for the most part a rabbit, you know what I mean? He slides along on the ice. That's his main way of mobility. It can actually be a main means of attack for it. It's not really too hard to dodge him charging at you when he slides on the stomach, but he has a couple of moves where he will kind of like mess with you a little bit here and there, you know? Like, he'll have this one particular attack where he'll do not like a full circle, but like 270 degrees of a circle, where he'll do like a quick donut, but like not like a full donut, like on the ground. It's kind of hard to block that one. Like, I'll be blocking in one direction, but he'll come from the other direction, the opposite direction, and still hit me. It's kind of off, but for the most part, it's a pretty fun monster to fight, and its gear and everything else is actually very nice too. So with that being said, let's actually go off the top and start talking about its weaknesses and things like that. So much to no one's surprise, I guess to a couple people's surprise, but the fact that I actually said that its body type is shared between it, the Arzuros, and the Volvodon, which is, I actually didn't say Volvodon. That's another monster that's coming later, a bit later, but anyway, they all kind of share the same body type. I forget what it's actually called though. It's like Fang Beast, I think that's what it is. I think it's Fang Beast. I'm not entirely sure. I apologize. But its weak spot is actually its backside. Very similar to that of the Arzuros. Its backside and its head, actually. And if you're going to hit any of these areas and hope to do like massive amounts of damage, I recommend you go in there with either fire or thunder. Now, you absolutely have a chance to actually have some fire weapons right here, because the young Cuckoo actually has a pretty decent amount of fire weapons. And also the Wind Eater, what's it called? The ore weapons. Like, there's the Wind Eater, the Ice Crater, there's the weird looking ones. It look like they came from like some kind of alien game or whatever. The Wind Eater longsword actually has fire on it as well. For those who are probably wondering if there's a fire longsword out right now, there really isn't too many fire weapons out right now, but everything that Cutco actually has for the most part is a fire weapon and can actually help you out in that regard. So if you have fire, you probably should. Cutco will be your mainstays on getting fire for right now until like Wrathwell or somebody else comes in. Anyway, you bring that fire, and then you'll be actually able to put my man in the dirt 6 feet under, that is, in due fashion. But let's say you do beat him up, right? Let's say you do beat him up, you complete the quest, and you're looking at your materials that you've received from him, and you're wondering, what can I do with this? Well, if you're trying to make some armor, I would recommend that his armor, I would make his armor. I honestly would make his armor, simply because it's not very good. I mean, it has 9 points to evasion, so if you were to get like one other point to evasion, you can actually have evasion 1. But evasion 1 isn't really all that good. I mean, it does help. It increases your invulnerability window when you dodge a little bit. I forgot the exact amount of frames, but it's not a whole lot, but it's better than nothing, I suppose. So if you want to do that, you can. He also has bind resistance, which means attacks that would usually have you wrapped into like mud or bubbles or what's another one, like the snowballs or whatever, it's not gonna bother you, anything like that. So I mean, that's cool, I suppose. So it's kind of useful. But at the end of it, actually has -9 points to health. So if you were to do one more particular skill that actually goes down in health while it raises another, your health will actually go down. You'll actually be set with like 80 health as opposed to 100 off the cuff or something like that. But that's the armor. I mean, it looks kind of good, you know. It looks cool visually. It looks cool, but gear, like stats and skill wise, probably not so much. But hey, here's one thing it's actually really good at though. It's weapons. It's It's weapons. Okay, not weapons. What? I can't speak today. I apologize. First commentary of the day. Its weapons are actually very good. Very good. They're ice weapons that you can actually take from now and run all the way to the end of the game. I actually have ice weapons that I use that, even though there's another monster out there who actually has ice weapons as well, I still tend to use some Lagombi stuff. Lagombi's gun lance. Boy, I love me some Lagombi gun lance. It used to be very bad, but now it's like super good. Like it's pretty gosh darn good. So its weapons are good. I recommend the dual blades. The great sword, not so much, but the long sword, the dual blades, and the gun lance, those weapons that it has are actually very nice. So I recommend using them if you need ice weapons from now until the end of the game. Dead serious. Like from now all the way up into and through G rank. Dead serious. Isn't that nice? But with the gear and everything out the way, the most part, all there's really left to say about Lagombi is a couple of his attacks. So what you've seen so far, he's pretty much shown everything that he really has. He does slide on the ground. He does do the little quick burnout attack or whatever. He can actually take a, almost call it a fireball. He'll take a snowball and he'll roll it at you. It'll start small, end up very big. He will back his butt cheeks up in case you're right behind him. He will do that. That's a thing that him and all the other, are they Fang Beasts? I think so. That's some skills that they all tend to actually have. So, I mean, that's the thing. Outside of that, he's not a very tough monster to fight. He has a little bit of health, I'll admit. More so than I think any monster you've actually fought so far. But he's not an impossible fight. He's really not. He doesn't really hit hard. Even when he's enraged, he doesn't really do a whole lot of stuff. So he just kind of is just there, you know. But that's just Lagombi. That's the nature of him. So, but for the most part, that's pretty much all I can really tell you about Lagombi. Again, he's not very difficult. Make his weapons if you can. Make his weapons if you can. It's armor you can kind of miss. Yeah, that's pretty much about it. The next hunt, though, I'm actually going to try to help you guys a lot more in that next hunt, because before I never had an issue with the monster that is coming up next in the next video, but for a lot of people, it's given them a lot of like grief because I don't know. When I use my lance when I fight this monster, I could do it with my eyes closed. But then one day I was like, you know what? Let's try fighting him, because I had to grind him out actually. I said, let's try fighting him with, you know, other weapons, because I did finally use a lance. I did beat him with the lance. That video is recorded with the lance. It was no problem for me. But I actually tried going back again and fighting with a couple of different weapons, and boy, I stacked on another like 4 minutes to each of my hunts. And I kind of feel for you guys now a little bit as to the annoyance of this particular monster. What monster it is, you'll see next time. But anyways, it's been your boy Dak908, aka the Dig Dug himself. Thank you all so much for coming and kicking with me today. That's that's actually how I end my streams. Thank you so much for watching the video and supporting your mans and whatnot. I'm gonna talk to y'all later real soon. Like, I'll have that video up for you guys as well, and I'm actually gonna knock out the rest of these 3-star village quests, so that way tomorrow I can probably work on the 4-star stuff. But anyways, it's been your boy. Take care.